today I have the honor of introducing our next guest, who needs literally no introduction. He told me not to introduce him. I'm going to do it anyway. He's a dear friend of mine with a long and distinguished career in public service. And wherever he and his wife, Karen, have served, his passion for mothers and their children, born and preborn, has always been number one. This man has never wavered in his support. He's always been innovative in finding policy solutions to solve the violence of abortion. Whether serving in the U.S. House or as governor of Indiana, or even as vice president of the United States. Working alongside Donald J. Trump, the Trump-Pence administration was proudly pro-life, and they ensured Roe versus Wade was sent to the ash heap of history. But above all, his most important accomplishment, I would say, is building a loving family. He's been married to his incredible wife, Karen, for more than 40 years. A truly remarkable achievement. He is blessed with 3 amazing children, along with 3 beautiful granddaughters. He is my friend, and he is a stalwart pro-life champion. Ladies and gentlemen of the pro-life generation, please give it up and welcome our friend, the 48th Vice President of the United States of America, Mike Pence. How was that?
Great reminder.
Have your mic. Good.
Thank you.
All right. Now, they only gave us 15 minutes, Mr. Vice President. And I had like 20 questions, so I've narrowed it down to 6. Do you think we can get through it?
Great.
Okay, all right. There's a lot I want to ask you in front of a whole room of people. You have been married.
Can I just say
sure.
good morning to the pro-life generation of America. Wow. And how about Kristen Hawkins? Isn't she something? She's just one of our heroes. Karen and my wife Karen is with me today. We're just so delighted. So many of you were out for the march yesterday. Thank you for coming and standing for life. And let me let you in on a very true statement that is hardly a secret anymore. Thanks to all of you and the great work of Students for Life. Life is winning in America every day. Never doubt it.
That's right. They are. All right. Are you ready for me to grill you?
I'm hoping.
Okay. These are going to be hard. I'm going to start out the hardest. Mr. Vice President, you've been married to your wife, Karen, for almost 40 years. To the single folks, and there's quite a few in the crowd, what would you tell them was the key to your marital success of finding such an amazing spouse for life and raising such exceptional children?
Well, marry up. I mean, other than putting my faith in Jesus Christ, the second most important decision I ever made. Was when I followed Karen Whitaker out the back of a church one day, and 18 months later, I walked her out the front of the church. And could you give her a round of applause? She is an incredible pro-life leader in America and was the best second lady we've ever had. Thank you all. No, I would tell you one thing. I would say, and my daughter and I just wrote a little book together entitled Go Home for Dinner. For those of you that are going to be in this movement all your lives, is when you put your faith in your family first, you can change the world. I really believe it with all my heart. So my advice to these young people in the room is talk faith first. It's one of the best things we did on our very first date was, after I'd made that decision when I was in college, put my faith in Christ, I didn't always bring it up first when I met attractive young women. But I resolved myself, as I wrote in that book, that the next time I sat down with someone that I thought just might be the one, the first thing I'd do is talk about the importance of my faith, what my values are. And we did that from day one, and it poured a foundation in our life that's brought us 38 years and counting, and we couldn't be more blessed. So that's my advice.
It's beautiful. You know, I often get asked about you because the word's gotten out that I like you just a little bit. They might follow me on social media. And people always ask, what's he like in real life? And my standard answer always is, judge someone by their family. And you have an exceptional family.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
That's how you know the real deal in Washington, D.C. No offense, I've met a lot of political leaders over the years.
So have I.
Oh gosh, okay. The comedian's coming out. All right. So here's another hard one. How should the pro-life generation think about voting even if it comes to maybe voting for a GOP candidate for president, for Senate, or state legislative office that you may not even really like or appreciate some of the tweets or something like that?
Well, look, we have primaries. We sort them out at every level. But after the primary is over, you vote pro-life. And you go get behind men and women that are going to stand for the right to life. I think the cause of life is the calling of our time. I mean, when the Dobbs decision came down, it was extraordinary. Some 50 years of heartbreak, 50 years of loss, 62 million lives lost. Yet because of the persistence and the faith of many of the people gathered in this room with hair the same color as me, we sent Roe versus Wade to the ash heap of history. But it wasn't the end of the fight, it was the end of the beginning.
Yep.
And I really do believe that from this point forward, every single one of us has to resolve that we are going to work every day to elect men and women to every office in the land until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law. That's what it'll take.
That's right. That's right. And sign up at Students for Life Action's table to help do that this fall. Okay. In your view, now I have a list, but this is what I do at 2 a.m. I make lists. What is the first things a pro-life president should do if elected in 2024 as soon as they come back from inauguration? Like that day, first time sitting down at the Resolute desk.
I think that our new president should direct the new attorney general to suspend all efforts to harass pro-life activists in America for standing for the sanctity of life. And then, frankly, I think they should pull the abortion pill off the market and demand that the law is properly enforced. I mean, and the foundation I created has been involved in this. Students for Life has as well. I mean, under the Obama administration, that abortion pill was approved by end-running the process that exists in the FDA to protect the health and well-being of the American people. And I believe those are two urgent causes. And I think we ought to step forward and make that happen on day one.
Like it. Let's sign a letter and demand it.
Okay.
All right. I'm holding you to it. All right. So every time you speak, Mr. Pence, we always hear you talk about adoption. I know it's very near and dear to you and Karen's heart. I think one of the biggest issues that we hear often when the issue of adoption comes up is the backlog. Millions of parents waiting to adopt, yet 1 million preborn children aborted every year. How can we encourage adoption in both the law and our communities to really transform that movement?
Well, look, I believe there is no unwanted child in America. The reality is, And we were one of those families. Karen and I struggled for more than 5 years to get our family started with what gets called unexplained infertility. We went through a recurring cycle of hope and disappointment, hope and disappointment. And we made the decision to put our names in for adoption. And when the time came along, we got a phone call that a young woman who was expecting had put us on her list. And it was right about that time that, after years of hoping and praying, we learned that Karen had become pregnant. And we were ready to have our family grow through the birth of a child and also through forever family and adoption. But we prayed about it, and we had one question for the attorney involved. We said, is the other family that's an option for this young lady? Are they clinically infertile? Are they unable to have children? And when they came back to us and said they were, then we didn't want to stand in the way. We wanted to trust the Lord for Karen's pregnancy to go to term, and we wanted to trust the Lord. But we opened our hearts to adoption. And I know there are millions of families across the country who every day hope and pray to be able to open their home. But what we need to do, and we sought to do it when I was governor of Indiana, we have got to make adoption more affordable for more American families. The average adoption today costs some $70,000. That's more than the average income of American families. And I'm someone who believes that in this country today, that for families that are willing to open their hearts and open their homes to a forever family, we ought to literally reduce the cost of adoption using the tax code and tax credits to virtually nothing. And I really do believe that one of the miracles that I observed was there was roughly every year, like you said, Kristen, there was almost the same number of people that reported infertility in the country as there were adoptions over the last half century. And that's why I say there's no unwanted child in America. There's a family out there that wants to love and raise that little one. We've got to do a better job as a nation to make that possible.
I'm asking this one for all you on campus who've heard this before. A piece of pushback we often get from the pro-abortion side is that it's too hard to take care of children. Now, we know Bidenomics has ruined this nation's great economy that you and President Trump helped to bolster. This has exacerbated the costs of childcare, diapers, children's clothes, other necessities. I mean, the president didn't even know a smoothie was $6. I don't even know where he got a smoothie for $6 the other day. I was shocked. What are some policy prescriptions or things that you could think that conservatives should start thinking about implementing in our states to solve these problems that we have?
Well, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to elect a Republican president and a Republican Congress in 2024, because the tax cuts that we put into effect largely go away at the end of 2025. I mean, it was a budgeting process that we had to use to pass them with 51 votes in the Senate. And you need to understand that if you think the economy is rough now, that there could be, if there's a Democrat administration to follow this Democrat administration, particularly led by this outfit, taxes are going to go up and the economy is going to continue to struggle. And so I think first and foremost, you just advance the policies that created a booming economy under our administration. But the other thing is, I think, and I'm really proud of my old colleagues in the Congress, in the House yesterday, I think we've got to make sure that expectant mothers on college campuses have their rights protected and they can pursue their education with a student's Bill of Rights. I want to see the Senate take it up.
Wasn't it outrageous that 0 Democrats voted for our bill?
It's Well, outrageous, but not surprising.
I know, we're jaded. We've been here too long.
Look, to me, it's an idea whose time has come, and I want to commend Congresswoman Hinson and Senator Rubio for advancing the cause. It's education is the key to the future for young people, and the fact that you are choosing life should not be a barrier to you pursuing that education on any campus in America.
That's right. Thank you. Is there anything else, or you want me to ask you the hardest question we have left?
Oh.
I'll give you. Are you scared? No. Okay.
A little bit.
Okay, no. Okay, so Mr. Vice President, what's something that people don't know about you, but you wish that they really did?
You know, the highest title I'll ever hold is DAD. You started out talking about our kids, and we've been blessed in our lives. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I got to be governor of my home state. I got to be your vice president for 4 years, the greatest privilege of my life. But nothing will compare to the privilege of being married to that woman and raising 3 incredible kids, seeing them marry 3 wonderful people. And what are the odds, after everything that we've been blessed with in our life, that we would actually be the grandparents of the 3 most beautiful granddaughters ever born in the history of the world? And just think about it, statistically. But that's my one word to all of you all, and I know you've got a tremendous program today, and I'm honored to be a part of your Saturday morning. I really am. I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to come by and say thank you. Thank you for your inspiring example. Thank you for loving the most vulnerable among us. I really do believe this pro-life generation will see the day when we do restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law in every state in America. I don't know if I'll be there to see it, but I know it's coming every bit as much as I knew we'd overturn Roe versus Wade. From early on, I had a sense of that. I knew it in my heart of hearts, just like the Dred Scott decision before it. I knew that the heart of the American people would one day turn back to life. And I want you all to know, for all the kindness that Kristen and others expressed to me for aspects of our career, it was you all that did it. It was your prayers. It was your perseverance. It was your faith that carried us to this new beginning for life. And as you go forward, I just encourage you to attend to those things that matter most as you stay in the cause of life. Build families that will inspire others to do likewise. Build on a foundation of faith, because I truly do believe it'll be the strong families in America, it'll be the faith of the American people that will lead us to a day where all life, born and unborn, is cherished in America again. So thank you for your leadership. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you so much. We love you.